I'm a dominant. This is my job.
The cataphract has been destroyed. Mission accomplished.
Sometimes I hate how easy it is to make mistakes. Like getting through all of recording something and then going and watching a friend's video and realizing while watching that video, you made one mistake that might have actually potentially made you need to go and replace a lot of footage. Well, luckily this time it wasn't quite that bad. So I had a lot of fun making this build, making it initially. I had a lot of fun testing it in PvE, like playing through the story and playing through the arena. I suffered quite a bit throughout the PvP part of the testing and work, and the way I do these is I usually start out with the PvP because that's where I have to like really honestly get the fine-tuning done on the weapons, because I mean, face it, that's the hard part, is the PvP, making that work. And I'll admit, it didn't exactly make the PvP work. I just got enough to go on and was like, alright, I'm done. I'm just gonna enjoy the fact that this is a cool build. And on to the mistake I made. The legs. You'll notice that they look right now. Yeah, it's because I actually fixed them now. This is how they should look. I had the wrong legs on before. I had these legs on and didn't really realize I had the wrong legs on until I started watching Armored Core Lore's video about Evangel, which by the way is the pilot of this build. This build being Oracle. But anyhow, that's enough griping about what happened. Just to be honest, yeah, no, I'm not redoing all that footage. All of that footage is with the wrong legs. Sorry, that's just how it is. At least I'm doing the right legs here. I could have actually probably changed the arms too, because I noticed the arms are they looked a little bit more like knock dryers. But I'm not bothering with that part. That's whatever. It probably would have helped, but it's whatever. Anyhow, also, this is the first build that was actually suggested by a viewer, a commenter. Let me get into the, go back here into my time capsule and try to remember who it was. I want to give them credit, you know? Give credit where credit is due. I actually like this idea, by the way, of people giving me suggestions. It's enjoyable. Ethan Spaziani. Ethan Spaziani says, Pink Dust Mammoth, you should do Mirages Oracle next, since they did include a remixed version of that core. And you're right, they did. I mean, they actually like put most of like the parts, the body parts in. The weapons, not so much. We'll get into the weapons. Weapons mostly. But anyhow, let's go where we normally start from. The head. Now on the head, it's this little bubbly head, the VP-44S. It's basically the original head, but reversed. The antenna's on the wrong side. Like this part, I got right. I nailed that. Nailed that down. Same thing with the core. Nailed the core. It's the VP-40S. It is almost identical to the original Oracle core. Well, the core that was used for Oracle. On the arms, I went with the VP-46S because honestly, originally I made pretty much the whole build VPS series from Arquebus because it just kind of, I thought it was that, okay? I thought it was that. The VP series. I thought this was it, man. So I had these arms, and that's just what we went with. And honestly, they're not bad arms. They're pretty mid still, so I mean, mid's not bad, mid's not great, but mid's not bad. On the legs, I had the wrong legs, but as we've gone over plenty now, these are the legs. These have to be the legs that they were envisioning the HAL 826s, and the reason why I say this is because these little bits on here, let me get the actual mouse out. Woohoo! These little bits here, these are the giveaways that I saw when I was watching Armored Core Lore's video and realized, oh, because I saw that and I was like, holy crap, I recognize those legs, and I was like, you used the wrong ones. But even changing those legs, it didn't actually change much of anything else. I will say it was, it's technically slower than the 422s. These were kind of quicker, but it's not really fast enough to care. Even with the P06 speed, this thing only has a boost speed of 323. I say only, it's over 300, but it's 323, and that's kind of a mid-weight speed that's high. I mean, it was 341, but now it's 323 with these legs. And you could arguably switch over to the Alula here and get the better quick boost and sacrifice about 10 on the speed, 10 whatever units that is. I can't remember how many units or what the unit unit of major is used over there. But yeah, you could sacrifice 10 of that for a massive jump and quick boost. Almost, well, not quite double, but it seems like about 75% increase, maybe close to 75% increase in quick boost. This is pretty much right now, I feel like this is the best FCS in the game, just because of where the medium range game is right now. The medium range game is like the highest point that the game could be. Close range is still strong. Long range, you kind of sacrifice your ability to regain your control or your locks quickly if you go with something like the VE21A, because if they move in on you a little bit all of a sudden and then quick boost, you've now they've broken your hard lock, and now your arms have to take a few seconds to gain back. Whereas on the medium range assist, it's kind of quick, and as long as you stay within that medium range, and the medium range kind of seems to be like the easiest range to hang out in. For the generator, we have literally only one that actually fits in here that does not make it overweight and does not make it energy shorten, and that's the Hokushi. Although the original build of this technically was overweight, so like you could go with something like, what's this work? Oh, it's because I changed the legs. That's funny. Yeah, it's not actually that funny, although that's a lot slower. I wouldn't really suggest using it. Serious? It's also a lot slower. It's like everything that works now because of the legs changing. So we no longer have the chance of having an overweight AC with changing the generator. Everything is either fine for weight or it's just energy shortfall. But everything keeps your weight so high that your boost speed sacrifice. So if you want to keep your boost speed up to 323 and not lower, it's the Hokushi. And I went with the pulse armor because Evangel's probably going to be smart enough to use the pulse armor, and it would also, I don't know, I'm just kind of bullshitting at this point with that. Moving on to the weapons. So we got on the right arm, we have the LR-037 Harris. I went with the Harris because it's a high power linear rifle, and he had a rifle. Well, he had a linear rifle. Let me double check here. Yes, he had what was called the WR-93RL, which was a high attack heat linear rifle equipped with a new mechanism, considered a top weapon, blah 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 blah. But yeah, linear rifle. Says it right there. So, gave him a linear rifle because what he had was a linear rifle. It just happened to look like a Kurosawa, which I think it was originally intended to be like the ballistic version of the Kurosawa for that generation. On the other arm, gave him the old Moonlight because he had a Moonlight sword. And even though the Moonlight I don't think the Moonlight shot in Armored Core Nexus. I think that was only Armored Core 2 that it was capable of emitting a blade or a wave. I don't know. I remember that this isn't actually the first time that it was capable of emitting a wave. But it was like harder to do before too, and it was not really practical. It was just still better to use as a melee weapon. Nowadays, it's easier to use as a ranged weapon. On the back. Now, I could have probably, once I went the route I went with the other back weapon, I could have probably gone ahead and made this thing be closer to the last Raven version, but this is where we ended up kind of definitively making this the Nexus version. I went with the split missile launcher, mainly because he had, what was it? It was a mini launcher? What are they called? The thing. Is that one? Is that the one? Yeah. Magaraga. Micro missile launcher. Fires 5 missiles per lock on. So, I mean, that one fired 5, but they're like 5 little micro missiles, which works out with this because this is 2 missiles that split into a bunch of micro missiles. So, micro missiles. Yay. Now, this is where we started taking liberties. Was the left shoulder. The laser cannon VP60 LCS. Reason being, I don't have a back-mounted linear rifle to put on him. I did attempt to run a Curtis on his back, like with the back hanger thing there, which this wasn't terrible, and you actually gained some speed off of it too. But in the end, it just ended up still working out better to just keep the laser cannon because lasers are pretty strong in this right now, and this thing needed every little bit it could get in PvP. But going into playing through a story, most of the story is pretty doable with this build. it gets a little challenging here and there. There are certain areas like when you go up against Chartreuse, King, and Nightfall all at once. That I have not successfully beaten with this AC yet. And I never actually went through the endings with them, so I don't know how well they or how well this AC would actually fare against like the end boss. But he does fine through all of Arena, like one-on-one versus ACs. He's pretty good. One-on-one versus player-controlled ACs. Look, it depends on the build they're using. If they're using what's like kind of like how the game is built to be played right now, which is using combos, they're gonna combo you to death. But if they're just playing like cosplay builds like what I make, it'll be fun. You might actually win. But the game isn't really like, the PvP is not really made around these types of builds. This one and Rider Palash are really just kind of better for PvE, and when you have buddies that are willing to play builds that are just for fun builds. But that's enough talking about the build. I've been talking for a long time, way too long, about this build. Probably cut some of this apart and cut it out. But hope you enjoyed. We're gonna go ahead and give you a arena fight against someone. I can't remember who I fought against. I think it was actually the Rubiconian. Yeah. So we got a fight against the Rubiconian in the arena, and then we have the little bit of PvP I was able to get mashed together for you. Enjoy.
Main system activating combat mode.
Target destroyed. The data will be integrated into Mind Beta. Thank you for your assistance.